Hey everybody, Martin Williams here. You know, all I really want is to help you control your own life. Take this dominion over yourself, right? So I want to continue with this concept of that you're not exempt. You're not exempt from teaching yourself. People want to be exempted from this. They want to place the idea of my learning on someone else. Whenever you place the idea of what you learn on someone else, you always learn something, but you're not learning the most important things. Let me tell you the most important person to study. The most important person to study on the planet is not Jesus. It's not God. It's not your hero. The most important person on the planet to study is you. Now, watch this now. Stick with me, keep breathing. When you study yourself, you are studying God. When you study yourself, you are studying the entire universe. When you're studying yourself, you're doing the most important thing you can do. When you begin to study yourself, you find out what may be lacking because your goals and who you are don't match. The calling on your life, the dreams, desires that you have doesn't match who you've become. So whose responsibility is this to turn you into the person that matches your dreams? That doesn't belong to anyone else but you. You're not exempt from this. You're not exempt from teaching you what you need to go, what you need to have to go to this next place in your life. That is your job. You can't give this to someone else. You can't blame someone else for not doing it. It's something you must do. So here's what I want you to do as you begin to teach yourself. You really need to find comfort in being you. What do I mean by that? You hear this phrase all the time about people who are comfortable in their own skin. What that really means is they're really studying themselves. They're not necessarily waiting for people outside of them to tell them what they need all the time. They are saying, I'm comfortable with being me. I'm right here, right now. And they always have the people who are doing this, let me put it this way. They always feel comfortable where they are now, what they're doing now, where they're going now. They feel comfortable in that. So now, because there's no blame, the worst person to blame is yourself, right? The worst person to blame is yourself. Blaming someone outside lets you walk away. You know, you can sort of walk away from them because you blame them. But when you start blaming yourself, there's only one person in the world you can't walk away from. You. You take you everywhere. You shower with you. You brush your teeth with you. You sleep with you. You can't divorce yourself. So when you begin to understand controlling and just being comfortable with who you are, now you can move on. Now you can forgive yourself and say, what do I need to learn so that I don't make that mistake again? What environments do I need to be? What books do I need to read? Who do I need to be listening to? How do I find a solace place inside myself and listen to myself? You become comfortable. In other words, there are some people in the world, have you seen them? They can literally laugh at themselves. I used to always be jealous of people who could make a mistake in public and laugh at themselves. I was jealous of them, and I figured out why. It's because I wasn't comfortable with myself. When you're not comfortable with yourself, you get afraid of looking stupid in front of people. That's what we do, right? But as you get more and more comfortable with yourself, you'll make a mistake and say, man, that was so funny. Boy, that was laughable. Okay, and now I can figure out how to fix that. I can figure out how to not be in that situation again. But if I'm never comfortable in my own skin, I will fear being embarrassed, which means I will never try anything that I could fail at. And the good ones fail all the time. The good ones fail all the time. That's why Michael Jordan will shoot 1,000 free throws before he goes to school. Because he knows on the court, he's gonna have to be willing to take weird shots, right? And you need to do that too, write it down. I need to prepare myself to take weird shots. And it may not look good to everybody, but I have to feel comfortable at being me. Say this with me, there's nobody on the earth more important than me. There's not. There's nobody on the planet more important than you, because at the end of it all, you're gonna be the person standing there having to give an account for your life, right? Here's what I'm saying. Teaching is the study of self. What I mean by that, once you become comfortable with yourself and you realize that teaching you is really about studying you. Where am I going? Who am I now? How do I bring these together? I bring these together by teaching myself what I need to do, to become this. You become what you're dreaming about before you experience it. You become it here, head and heart and mind and soul. Your soul turns into what you're dreaming about. So now you have to study yourself. Who am I? What are my gifts? What are my callings? What do I like? Where am I from? Where am I going? That study of yourself is what changes life, period, right? When you're afraid of yourself, when you don't like yourself, when you can't accept yourself, when you are like, I wish I could be whoever it is. You like, I wish I could go. I wish I could live. I wish I could whatever. Let me tell you something right now. Studying your icons won't make you an icon. Studying successful people won't make you a successful person. It's not true. And I know people tell you that to sell their books, but just studying someone doesn't make you like them. It only happens, folks, when you study yourself. Because it's only in studying yourself that you can figure out how your icon got where they are. Because they had to do some things that you had to do. I never forget this episode I was watching of The Cosby Show years ago, and it was during I was at the age of this guy that was getting ready he was being drafted. He was going to the military. He was being drafted out of college for some weird reason. And the person telling this story said to the young man, you're going to fight in a war. You're going to fight in a war you don't want to go fight in. So yes, I get it. So he started to tell the young man about what he did. He said, when I was in Vietnam, that's right, he was going to Vietnam. This young man was going to go fight in another war. And he said, when I went there, every day I went to fish. I went to fish in my grandfather's pond, and I would catch the fish and I would fillet the fish and I would cook the fish. And he was looking at this old man and he finally said, what does that have to do with me? I'm going to battle. And he said to the young man, you have to have your own reason for coming home. In other words, everybody's going through something. Everybody is going through something, right? You've got to teach yourself what you need to learn so that you can go through it and come back home. That's your job. That's not anyone else's job, right? The last story I'll tell you is this, and it's important that you do this. A young man went to see a very famous person, and he was going to ask this famous person to teach him how to do martial arts, right? So he says, teach me how to do martial arts. So the famous person asked him, what do you know about martial arts? What do you know about martial arts? For the next 15 minutes, he told this famous martial artist everything he knew about martial arts. So he told him everything. And the martial artist said to him, you're not gonna be a good student for me. You're not gonna be a good student for me because you're still full. You're still full. He said, for me to teach you, you're gonna have to be empty. Because what I want to put in you, you're going to have to teach yourself once our sessions are over, right? Am I making sense to you at all? You're going to have to teach yourself. And because you're full, I won't be able to give you any new concepts that you will take with you and teach yourself while you're not in. You get 1 hour with me, but I want you to spend 8 hours with yourself, by yourself, teaching yourself. Because I'm going to show you concepts that you and your own personality are gonna have to figure out how to use. You understand what I'm saying right now? So someone can teach you a concept, but you're gonna have to spend time with yourself because everybody learns different. Everybody absorbs different. Everybody goes through their life a whole lot different, right? So you're gonna have to take this responsibility to teach yourself. A lot of these concepts can take some time because sometimes you've either heard them but you've not heard it from me. My gift is different. You're hearing it in a different moment right now. And it's very important to just accept it. Taking all this in, having some time to say, I have to teach myself, accepting that this is your responsibility, and just really releasing any anxiety or any like, oh, I got to teach myself, I got to wake up at 5 in the morning. No, just release that. Just accept the truth of this. And that's where your life changes. Am I making sense? Well, I'm Martin Williams, and all I really want to do, all I'm really interested in is helping you control your own life. Later.